All right, hey everyone, this is Garrett from Back to Brick. Today we're going to be talking with the designers of Monkey Palace. This is David, Gordon, and Tam. I really want to thank you guys for letting me talk to you today. I'm a huge Lego aficionado, as we've been talking a little bit before, but I just wanted to break down kind of your design aspect, how you came about the game, working with Lego. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you so much for talking to us. It's a pleasure to talk to you and happy to answer any questions you have.
Awesome. Well, I guess my first question is, when you were working with the Lego group, coming up with this game, who kind of initiated the design process? Was that more a collaboration, or did you guys have an idea to start with?
Well, we were connected to the publishing studio from Asmodee that was handling or in charge of this project through another project that we were doing. So we were able to receive a brief that kind of outlined what they wanted, the broad goals. And then Tam and I met and we said, yes, we were going to do this. And we went down to my basement. We pulled out all bunch of pieces and started pushing them around and coming up with ideas and finally came together. I think Tam initially had the thought of what if we all, when we take our turn, add something and build to a central structure and build that over time so that by the end you have a big central structure. And we just riffed on that and worked on it over the period of time of testing and iterating and testing, and then we submitted that proposal to this publishing company, and eventually we were very fortunate that they selected our design, and then we worked with the internal team to finish to make whatever tweaks they wanted to make and finish it.
And so it was. And that's how we have the game. Now, I forgot to ask just a little backstory on yourselves. So, David, Tam, what's your history with games and Lego itself?
Uh, well, I've been designing games since I was a kid, and I've been playing with Lego since I was very young. And when we got the request to build a game, I really, we really went back to what makes Lego fun for us, and that was building. And to gamify that, how do you create a set of rules to create a satisfying structure at the end? Because we had an early idea that once you build it, you want to put it on your shelf and until you play it again. And that's what I did when I was building with Lego. I built something and put it on the shelf, and that was one of the core
Yes.
mechanics that we have in the game.
It was a core feature of
Yeah.
our proposal is that it would be, I think you said photo worthy at the end.
Yeah.
That would be the goal, is to try to create something like that. We're both independent game designers. We both make games and work with different publishers to see them hopefully come to the shelf. And we've done a number of other things together. We have a game called Floristry, which is also from Asmodee. It's being released this month.
Okay.
And so we're very excited about that. I was co-designer on a game called Finspan, which is a sequel to Wingspan. And so we have a lot of other companies that we're working on, other games that we're working on.
That was one of my questions. Have you guys collaborated before? And so
Yes.
what iteration or what number of collabs is this one?
I think
This,
we've worked on at least 30 games together.
wow.
Now, of those, I would say half a dozen to 10 are either released or coming this year or next year, maybe a dozen. But so we love working together. We love to design when we're in the car driving to conventions. We'll spend the 6 hours.
Any come up today? Oh, you're
Well, we're
coming here?
both from New York, so
Oh, this is not a far commute. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Although I did solve a design problem on the subway, so maybe
That
that
counts.
counts.
Yeah, that counts. And so you said you guys went to your basement, pulled out some Lego, and kind of started working. So how long have you been playing and having Lego in the home?
Um, I grew up in Burma, and I had only a handful of toys, and Lego was my main toy. And I built all sorts of stuff with it. and I it was really a tool for me to build other things. Really, I use it as my construction set to make other stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I also had Lego when I was a kid. My brother and I had a big table. I mean, maybe it's not actually as big as what it seemed like when I was a kid, but it was just um, dedicated to building things. And we built a city. We built streets, we built buildings, we had a subway that ran through, and we just had this ongoing thing for it must have been a year or two. We were just would build and make this city in when I was in middle school, about that age. And then I didn't play with Lego until my kids were born. So fast forward 30 years and 20 years, I guess. They're now 16 and 19. So they stopped playing when they were in middle school as well. So that's why we have a bin, my old Legos from the 1980s in our basement and used by me and then my kids. And maybe their kids next.
We all get to that point of what we call the dark age, like middle school, high school, and it's like, it's not fun to play with Lego anymore. But
Then they come back.
they come back, they do, and especially like now, a lot of nostalgia is built into this. And in nostalgia, as you've built over 30 games together, what are some of the like games that may have had some inspiration for this one?
Well, that's interesting. I would say every game informs. You learn from every game. Crafting the Cosmos, not from a game level, but Crafting the Cosmos is another game from Asmodee that's coming out this month as well. It's a game we designed in the car on the way to a convention. But in that game, over the course of the game, you start with nothing and you're building slowly, piece by piece on every turn. And our goal with that was at the end, you would have something beautiful to look at. So we had this kind of bug in our ear, I guess you could say, where we worm in our ear. I don't know what the term is, but we were exploring this kind of idea of and we looked at a lot of other games that do this as inspiration as well. What do you think?
Right. There's probably a spattering of mechanics from other games that we have or other games in the markets that went into this design. There's a little bit of engine building, very simple engine building. And part of the difficulty is trying to make these mechanics accessible enough for families, for kids as young as 6 year old. How do you introduce engine building for them? Our initial design had a track, a technology track, and we worked closely with Dotted Games and to try and simplify that, and that the card system was what came out of it. So you have, instead of a track now, you have cards that you can purchase, which allows you to build your engine, and it serves the same purpose.
And now, integrating Lego on a board. I mean, most people just build the set based on the instruction, but this has no instruction really. It has, I mean, just playing the game yourself and trying to understand, like, you're trying to achieve the goal. Can I guess give a quick rundown on the overall gameplay, but then how you kind of broke the mold of having the instruction?
Right. So interestingly, this does have an instruction because all games have an instruction, then that's a rule book. But what we have done here is that the instruction is guiding you on building the structure. So by creating incentive, you
And
will
incentivize.
right incentivizing you to create the structure, and it just naturally flows out of the simple handful of instructions and
Right. I mean, the game works. In order to get something that's going to be nice, beautiful aesthetically, you're going to need some height.
Yeah.
And so when you add something to the structure, you count the number of steps that you go up, and the more steps that you have, the more points you'll get, and the better cards you'll get, and the better chance you have to win. So by incentivizing you with the cards and the points to have more and more steps, now I am always trying to increase the height of the tower. And so that incentivization structure becomes the basis or the foundation of the game.
Well, I like the term guardrails because in any Lego set, they have step one, step two, step three. With the guardrails, you can make those choices. And I think at the specific level of gaming, I mean, this is a 10 plus, right? I
10
Yes,
plus,
10 plus. So you still have the young age group that can still play and try to create that, while me, as someone in their 30s, has the same outcome or challenge.
Yeah, and the aging on games is an interesting discussion because not every 10-year-old is the same, and not every 8-year-old is. I mean, not every anybody is the same. So we play tested this game with kids as young as 7, and they there was one time I think with 6-year-olds, and they needed help. So there were 7-year-olds, but other 7-year-olds, it might be really easy. Some it might be challenging. It might be challenging for, different people at different ages. But what I was really impressed with was the elementary school kids that we played it with in Germany at the release. They the kids there, I guess they just play a lot more games, but they were incredible 6-year-olds who were just taking their turn without needing much help, and
Wow.
it was pretty impressive. So, yeah, that's a little sidebar on the age.
No, it's so interesting to think about because I always wonder where Lego comes up with their age brackets of things because some sets are still challenging at a 10 plus for me. And they just keep getting more and more intricate. And as this game came out last year, I believe, correct? In October.
2024.
Yes. Now, will there be expansions or anything that we're looking to change on the continued iterations?
Yeah, well, we can't say anything about future things because the plans aren't firm and nothing is official. But I think in most successful games, and hopefully this will find some success, you can expect elaborations or expansions or sequels and such. That's about all I can.
Yeah. Oh no,
I can
understanding.
say
Yeah.
not because I'm holding back, but just because I don't know. I
Right.
don't know. There's nothing for.
there has been micro expansions like Essen. They released
Oh yeah,
these little animals
they
parts.
released a skull. Yeah, I don't know if they have those here. But
Oh, that's right. I believe I was talking to Ashley. She's saying that there was a skull and I think a parrot that was being added.
yeah,
Is there? So I guess personal question: if you could throw in any Lego brick, what would you want to see in it?
Well, personally, I would love to see different structures that come out of it. Maybe something that looks different. I don't know. I mean, that's
yeah. I don't know. We have there's a list. There's a
There always is.
yes.
Well, no, I appreciate your time. I guess I always like to ask one final question because not only the gaming industry or building board games has been part of your life, but as you said, you've had Legos since the '80s and kind of coming back to this form. How do you think Lego and just being part of play has really changed or impacted your life?
It has been a complete and utter joy to be able to design games every day. I like every part of the process. I love the initial spark of an idea and putting that on a table and getting feedback and iterating and feedback. I love the work of testing things with other designers and with play testers and family or friends. And I love to see something get the final touches put on it and get the final art and then be on a shelf. Like every single part of this process is just a joy for me.
yeah. For me,
Yes.
yes. uh, I mean, for me, games and play is really important. It led me into various careers, which I find very satisfactory for my own personal self. But also, I really truly believe that games and play are the way that we learn and the way that we improve ourselves. And I collaborate a lot with um, games that are more than just entertainment. So games with a purpose. Some call it educational games or serious games, but any game, even this game, you're learning about 3D structures and long-term goals, and so all the skills that you pick up in gameplay, I think it's really cross disciplinary benefits.
No, and I really appreciate that because board games have been a part of my life since I was a kid too. Lego, the same thing. So seeing you guys come together, help with the integration has, well, I think it'll be a hit. I've played the game, I love it, and hopefully continue to see you guys come out with more collaborations with Lego. But thank you again. It's been great talking to you, Dave and Tam.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you.
was a lot of fun.